I want to start today with a very specific and I think very painful archetype that I think everyone listening is going to recognize.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Let's just call him the range pro. You know this person. Maybe you are this person.
Huh.
It's Tuesday evening. You're at the driving range. The sun is setting. There's absolutely zero pressure. And, Will, you are just flushing it.
Just striping it, pure contact.
Pure contact, perfect trajectory. You're hitting these little draws on command. You feel like you've finally cracked the code.
And then you send the text.
You text your buddies, I figured it out.
It's the most dangerous text message in sports. I found it!
Right. And then Saturday morning rolls around, first tee, the boys are watching, maybe there's, $5 on the line.
The pressure's on.
You tee it up, confident as hell, and you hit a low duck hook into the parking lot. The thing you found on Tuesday is just gone.
Vanished, like it never existed.
And the immediate reaction, at least for me, and I think for most of us, is panic. We think, the machine is broken, I need a mechanic.
Right. Which usually translates to, I need a lesson.
Exactly. I need an expert to pop the hood, reconnect the wires. But today, we are doing a deep dive into a text that says that very instinct, that rush to find an external mechanic, might actually be the reason we stay stuck.
Mmm.
We're looking at excerpts from Mastering the Inner Caddy, The Case for Self-Coaching. And look, I know we have a lot of golfers listening, but I want to be clear up front.
This isn't really about golf.
Not really. It isn't about swing planes or grip strength.
No, not at all. I mean, if you swap the word golf for public speaking or coding or even investing, the logic holds up perfectly. This is a text about the psychology of learning.
And the specific trap of outsourcing your own competency.
Exactly.
It's a dense piece of writing, and it's advocating for a pretty radical shift.
Yeah.
It argues that the most critical factor in your improvement isn't the instructor you hire.
Or the YouTube channel you binge.
Or the data from your TrackMan. It is the inner caddy you cultivate.
And that metaphor, the inner caddy, is so crucial. Because in golf, the caddy isn't just the person carrying the bag, right?
No, not at all.
The caddy is the strategist, the psychologist, the person who's supposed to keep you calm when the wheels fall off. And the source is arguing that if you are relying on someone else to do that job for you,
you'll never truly master this skill.
You'll never get there.
So let's get into the first big concept here. The source calls for a move from reliance to ownership.
Yeah.
Now, I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Please.
We live in the golden age of information.
Mm.
I can go on Instagram right now and get a swing tip from a top 10 coach in the world. I can pay for a lesson with a local pro who has all this high-tech gear.
The access is unbelievable.
So if I'm paying for that expertise, isn't that a form of ownership? I'm investing in my game. Why does the text call that reliance?
It's a subtle distinction, but a massive one. Investing money isn't the same as investing ownership.
Yeah.
The text argues that when most of us take a lesson or watch that Instagram video, we are looking for a prescription. We want to be told, do X and Y will happen.
We want the fix.
We are passive recipients of the information. We're basically saying, Coach, here's a steering wheel, you drive.
Okay, I see that. I've definitely stood on a lesson tee and thought, just tell me where to put my hands so I stop slicing it.
Right.
I don't care why it works, just fix it for me.
Precisely. And that is reliance. You are renting the competency from the coach. And the problem with renting is that, well, the landlord eventually goes home.
Ah, right.
The source says it explicitly. Instruction provides the map, but ownership is driving the car. If you're just staring at the map waiting for it to move the car for you, you're going to be parked in the same spot forever.
But isn't that what a coach is for? To guide you? I mean, if I have to drive the car myself, what am I even paying them for?
And that's the friction point, isn't it? The text doesn't say fire your coach. It says lessons matter. But it redefines the hierarchy. This part is really interesting. It calls coaches support roles.
Yeah, I circled that. Support roles.
Yeah.
If I'm a top-tier coach charging $300 an hour, I might be a little offended by being called support.
You might be. I'm the expert.
Exactly.
But think about the best CEO-consultant relationships. The consultant is the expert in their specific field, sure. They come in, they analyze the data, they offer a strategy, but who has to actually make the final call?
The CEO.
Who has to stand in front of the shareholders? The CEO. In your game, you are the CEO. If you treat the coach like the CEO, if you're constantly asking permission, is this right? Did I do that okay? You aren't owning the process.
You're asking for validation.
You're just asking for validation.
Wow, that hits home. The validation loop. You hit a shot and immediately look back at the instructor like a puppy waiting for a treat.
And the source warns that this validation loop absolutely destroys your ability to self-correct. If your first instinct after a mistake is to look for an external thumbs up and thumbs down,
You're weakening your own judgment.
you are atrophying it. You're training yourself to be helpless without supervision.
So owning your improvement means taking the map from the consultant, putting it in your pocket and saying, okay, I've got this, I'll figure out the turns.
Yes. It means the success or failure of the project rests with you, not just the advice you received.
That sounds empowering, but also kind of lonely. It feels like a lot of pressure.
It is lonely. And that leads us directly to the next section of the text, which is arguably the most practical part of the source. It talks about where this ownership actually happens.
And it's not during the lesson.
No, it's what happens when no one is watching.
The source lists specific things here, how a player thinks, practices, and makes decisions when no one is watching. Let's break that down because practicing sounds generic.
Right, everyone knows they need to practice.
So what is the text actually getting at here?
It's attacking the way most people practice.
Mm.
Go to any public driving range. What do you see?
Oh, I see guys with headphones on just raking the ball, hitting it, raking another one, hitting it, just machine gun style.
Maybe checking their phone in between.
Yeah.
Right. So they are exercising, maybe. They're burning calories, but they aren't practicing in the sense this text implies. The source focuses on decisions.
Okay, decisions.
This is key. How can you make decisions when you're just hitting balls into an open field? The inner caddy concept suggests that every ball you hit needs to involve a decision-making process.
So instead of just whacking a 7-iron, I need to be simulating something.
You need to be simulating the consequence. The inner caddy needs to be active. A good caddy says, okay, the wind is off the left, the pin is tucked right, we can't miss right, so what's the shot?
Right.
If you aren't having that internal dialogue on the range, you aren't training the inner caddy. You're just training muscles. And muscles without a brain are useless under pressure.
This reminds me of that concept, deliberate practice. It's not just reps, it's reps with intent.
Exactly.
But the text adds this whole other layer of how a player thinks. So give me a concrete example. I'm on the range, I hit a terrible shank,
We've all been there.
the kind that makes everyone look at you. What's the difference between the reliance mindset and the inner caddy mindset in that exact moment?
Great question. The reliance mindset panics. It says, oh no, the shank is back. What did my pro tell me 3 weeks ago? Was it keep the elbow in? Was it turn the hips?
You start scrambling.
You start shuffling through a mental Rolodex of tips, trying to find the magic pill. You get emotional, you get frantic.
I've lived that moment. It's pure chaos.
Now contrast that with the inner caddy mindset. The source implies a level of detachment. The inner caddy sees the shank and says, data point. That was a shank. Why? Okay, I felt my weight drift to my toes. I got crowded. Let's step back. Let's make a slow rehearsal feeling the weight in the heels. Okay, now commit to the next one.
It's clinical.
It's objective. It's a feedback loop, not an emotional crisis. And the text is saying we need to upgrade our internal software to handle those moments.
Because if you can't handle a bad shot on the range without spiraling,
You have zero chance of handling it on the 18th hole of a tournament.
this goes back to the decision-making part then. It's not just deciding what club to hit. It's deciding how to react.
Exactly. The source almost implies a sort of post-shot routine. We talk so much about pre-shot routines, but the post-shot is where the learning really happens.
How so?
Did I commit? Did I accept the outcome? If the answer is no, then that was the error. The error wasn't the ball going right. The error was the breakdown in the mental process.
That is a huge shift. We usually judge the shot by where the ball lands. It's on the green, so I did good.
It's in the water, so I did bad.
Right. You're saying the inner caddy judges the process, regardless of the result.
And that is the hardest thing for any learner to do. Because we are addicted to the result. But the source is adamant. Improvement happens in the invisible moments of decision-making, not just in the visible moments of ball striking.
Okay, I want to circle back to the coach for a minute, because there's a line in the text that I found really provocative.
Which one?
It claims that every coach, if they are honest, eventually arrives at the same truth. And that truth is, the most influential coach a golfer will ever have is themselves.
It's the paradox of the profession.
But isn't that a bit of a cop-out? If I hire a trainer to get me in shape, I don't want them telling me, hey, the real trainer is you.
Right, get to work.
I want them to yell at me to do push-ups. If a golf coach tells me you're the real coach, It feels like they're absolving themselves of responsibility for my bad slice.
I get that reaction. It sounds like a disclaimer, like results not guaranteed. But just look at the math. This is where the source logic is undeniable.
The math.
How many hours a week do you spend with an instructor? Maybe one.
If I'm lucky. Usually once a month.
Okay, so 1 hour a month. Now, how many hours a month do you spend thinking about your game, swinging a club in your living room, playing, practicing, or just visualizing shots?
Dozens, maybe hundreds if I'm obsessed that month.
Exactly. So purely by volume, who is talking to you the most? Who is giving the most instructions?
It's me.
It's you. The ratio of internal talk to external instruction is probably 100 to 1. So even if your coach is a genius, if your internal dialogue, your inner caddy, is an idiot for the other 99 hours, the genius loses.
So the coach is just the consultant dropping off the blueprints once a month. I'm the foreman on the site every single day.
And if the foreman is reading the blueprints upside down or screaming at the workers, the building falls down. It doesn't matter how good the architect was.
This redefines the goal of taking lessons then. The goal isn't just fix my swing. The goal should be teach me how to fix my own swing.
100%. A great coach wants to make themselves obsolete. They want to teach you how to fish. If you have to text your coach every time you hit a bad shot, they haven't taught you. They've addicted you.
They've created dependence.
The source explicitly states that instruction is vital, but its purpose is to empower the player to self-correct.
To make themselves obsolete. That's a tough business model for a coach, but a great outcome for the player.
It's the only outcome that leads to mastery because, and this is the segue to the most profound part of the text, the coach cannot go with you where you really need them.
This is the finale. The only constant.
The player is the only constant.
Let's just sit with this for a second, because on the surface, it's obvious. Of course, I'm there for all my shots.
Yeah.
But the text frames this almost like a philosophical burden. Why is this line so heavy?
Well, think about the variable nature of performance. You play a different course every week. The weather changes, wind, rain, cold, heat.
Your equipment changes over time. Your body changes. You're stiffer today than you were yesterday.
Your mood changes. The pressure changes. A shot on Tuesday is completely different than a shot on Sunday.
And your coach.
They are back at the academy giving a lesson to someone else. Your playing partners. They don't care about your game, they care about theirs. The only thing that is present for every single second of your experience
From the moment you wake up to the moment you sign the scorecard.
is you, the conscious observer behind your eyes.
When you put it that way, it's actually kind of terrifying. It means there is no escape. You can't hide from yourself out there.
You cannot. And that is why reliance is such a fragile strategy. If you build your game around a specific feeling or a specific tip or a specific coach's affirmation, you are building on sand.
Because those things disappear.
The feeling leaves, the coach isn't there, but you remain.
So if I am the only constant, then my relationship with myself is the most important piece of equipment in the bag.
Far more important than the driver or the putter. Let's go back to the house analogy, but deeper. Imagine you buy a house. You live in it 24/7. You are the resident. The coach is the interior designer. They come in, they suggest moving a wall, changing the lighting, buying a new couch, great advice, but then they leave.
And I'm the one left living in the mess during the renovation.
Not just that. Imagine the hallway is too narrow. The designer says, just walk sideways. Fine for them to say. But you are the one bumping your shoulder against that wall 50 times a day.
You're living the reality of the structure.
You are. If you don't understand the wiring, the plumbing, and the layout, you are a stranger in your own home.
And if a pipe bursts at 2 in the morning,
The designer isn't answering the phone. You have to know where the shutoff valve is.
that's the inner caddy, knowing where the shutoff valve is.
Exactly. When you're on the 16th tee, you're 2 over par, your hands are shaking, and you start to lose your rhythm. You can't wait for a lesson next Tuesday.
No.
You need to know, okay, when I get nervous, I get quick. The shutoff valve is breathing. The shutoff valve is loosening my grip pressure. That is self-coaching. That is owning the house.
And the source suggests that most of us are just standing in ankle-deep water, screaming for the plumber, while we're holding the wrench in our own hand.
And we blame the plumber. Why did he put the pipes here? No, you live here.
Ugh.
Learn the systems.
It really puts the responsibility squarely back on the player. There's no wiggle room. If you suck, it's because your inner caddy sucks.
That's harsh, but yes. But flip it over. It's incredibly optimistic.
How so?
Because if you are the only constant, You are also the solution. You don't need to wait for a guru on a mountain to bless you with talent. You have the capacity to improve right now.
Just by changing how you talk to yourself.
How you talk to yourself, how you evaluate your shots, and how you practice, you have the wrench, you just have to decide to turn it.
It changes the definition of talent, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
usually think talent is just, hand-eye coordination.
Right.
But maybe the real talent is that ability to be a good partner to yourself.
I would argue that at the highest level, that is the only differentiator. Everyone on the PGA Tour hits it pure. Everyone can chip and putt. The guys who win are the ones whose inner caddy is a Navy SEAL, calm, precise, efficient, and resilient.
And the guys who fade away.
Their inner caddy is a frantic mess.
So we've moved from the frustration of the range pro to this realization that we need to stop renting our swing and start owning it. We know we need to practice decision-making, not just ball striking. And we've accepted the heavy reality that we are the only constant.
We've accepted that we are the CEO, the architect, and the foreman.
Which brings me to a question I want to leave everyone with. And I have to warn you, this is a bit of a mirror check.
Okay.
When we hire people in real life, employees, contractors, coaches, we vet them. We check references, we do performance reviews.
We have high standards for other people.
Right. But we've just established, mathematically and philosophically, that you are your own primary coach. You are the boss of your game. So here is the question.
Let's hear it.
If you recorded your internal monologue during a round of golf, everything you say to yourself after a bad shot, every doubt, every insult, every lazy decision, and you played that tape back for a boss, would they hire you?
Oof, that's a tough one.
Would you hire yourself to caddy for you? Or would you fire yourself for being toxic, distracted, and, frankly, incompetent?
And if the honest answer is I'd fire me, then it doesn't matter what swing tip you try next.
You know exactly what the first step needs to be.
You do.
Time to conduct a performance review on the inner caddy. Thanks for going deep with us today.
See you on the range.